Leo had 3 rules for a perfect Saturday. Rule 1, wake up before anyone else so no one could give him a job to do. Rule 2, get to the sofa with the controller before his little sister Mia claimed it for cartoons. Rule 3, do not stop playing until someone physically removed the controller from his hands, and even then, argue about it. He was 10 years old, and he was, by his own assessment, extremely good at video games. He had completed 7 different adventure games, reached the top ranking in 2 racing games, and defeated the final boss in a space game so difficult his best friend Omar had given up on it entirely. Leo did not give up on things. Not games, anyway. Other things were a different story. His homework sat in his school bag, getting more overdue every day. His mother had asked him 4 times this week to take out the rubbish. Do you know what rubbish is? It is the waste and unwanted things we throw away, and it goes into a bin that needs to be emptied regularly. And Leo had said, yes, sure, I will do it in a minute every single time, and had then immediately forgotten. His little sister Mia was 7 years old and followed him around wanting to play with him, and he told her he was busy approximately 12 times a day, which she accepted with a patience that should have made him feel worse than it did. His mother said on Friday evening, standing in the doorway of the sitting room, that she was not asking anymore. She was telling. The games were going off at 8 o'clock every night starting this weekend, and Leo was going to do his homework and help around the house and spend some time with his sister. Leo said yes, sure, absolutely, while looking at the screen. His mother said his name, just his name, in the particular way she said it when she meant it completely. Leo looked up. He said, "All right, Mom." He meant it briefly. Then he went back to the game. That night, he fell asleep on the sofa with the controller still in his hand. He woke up somewhere else entirely. The sofa was gone. The sitting room was gone. Leo was standing on a wide, flat platform made of glowing green tiles that stretched out in every direction, and above him the sky was a deep electric blue with floating numbers counting down from something. And in the distance, blocky pixel mountains rose against a pixelated horizon, and a bright red arrow was pointing directly at his head from above. He looked down at himself. He was wearing his actual pajamas, blue ones with small rockets on them, and he was holding the controller, except it was now glowing, and when he pressed the left stick experimentally, his left foot moved. He pressed right. His right foot moved. He pressed the jump button and jumped 3 feet into the air and came back down. He said out loud, to no one in particular, "I am in a video game." A voice said, "Correct, 10 points," and a small golden 10 floated up from the ground and disappeared. The voice was coming from a small, floating creature beside him. A round blue sprite with large eyes and small wings and an expression of professional helpfulness. It said its name was Guide, and it would be explaining the rules of this world to him. Leo said he did not need rules explained. He was very good at games. Guide said that was nice, and the rules were as follows. This was a 5-level adventure game. Each level had a challenge. To go home, Leo had to complete all 5 levels and reach the final stage. Simple enough. Leo cracked his knuckles. He said, "Let's go." Level 1 was called Listen Carefully. It seemed straightforward, a maze of bright-colored corridors with a path to find. Leo set off confidently in the direction that looked right. He walked for 10 minutes, hit a wall, turned around, tried another way, hit another wall. He walked for another 10 minutes. Same result. He was going in circles. He could feel it. Guide floated beside him, saying nothing. Leo stopped. He said, "Fine." He looked at the walls of the maze. He noticed for the first time that they had markings on them. Small symbols, arrows, tiny patterns. He had been walking too fast to see them. He slowed down. He looked. He followed the symbols, and he was out of the maze in 4 minutes. Points floated up from the ground. Guide said, "Level 1 complete. You found the path when you stopped moving and started looking." Leo said he had figured that out himself. "Thanks." Guide said, "Of course." Level 2 was called Help When Asked. Leo entered a large room full of objects that needed to be assembled: furniture, boxes, complicated things, and a time limit ticking down above him. There was a button at the edge of the room. The button said, "Press for help." Leo ignored the button and tried to do everything himself. He was fast. He was capable. He got 70% of the room assembled before the time ran out and the level reset. He tried again, same result, 70%, time out. He tried a third time, 70%. He pressed the button. A second character appeared, a small pixel version of his mother in her kitchen apron with a speech bubble that said, "What do you need?" Leo swallowed something uncomfortable and said he needed help with the large items on the left. His mother's pixel version went directly to the large items on the left, and they finished the room in half the time with 40 seconds to spare. Level 2 complete. Guide said the room went faster with 2. Leo said he knew that. Guide said, "And yet." Leo did not respond to "and yet." Level 3 was called Finish What You Started. A series of tasks appeared: a pile of homework to complete, a bin to take out, a floor to sweep. Each task had a start button and a finish button, and they were worth points only when fully completed, not when started. Leo tried to start all of them at once and complete none of them. He got 0 points. He tried to do one at a time, but kept stopping partway through when a more interesting task appeared. He got 0 points again. He sat down on the glowing green floor and looked at the tasks and thought about something. He thought about the rubbish bin at home. He thought about his homework. He thought about his mother saying his name in the particular way she meant it. He stood back up. He did one task. He finished it completely. Then he did the next one and finished that. Then the next. The points that came up were larger than any he had earned so far. Guide said, "Well done." And for the first time, it sounded like it actually meant it. Level 4 was called Notice Someone. This was the strangest level. Leo entered a room, and it was empty except for one small pixel figure sitting in the corner, knees pulled up, not moving, not saying anything. There was no task visible. There was no objective listed. There was just the figure and the empty room and the ticking timer. Leo walked up to the figure. He looked at it. It had brown pigtails and a small blue dress, and it was sitting very still. He crouched down in front of it. He said, "Are you all right?" The figure looked up. Its pixel face had pixel eyes that were slightly wet. It said, "You never ask me that." Leo felt something that was not a video game feeling, something warmer and less comfortable. He said he was asking now. He sat down on the floor beside the figure, and he stayed there until the timer ran out, except the timer did not run out. The points came up. Guide said, "Level 4 complete." The figure got up and walked away through a door Leo had not noticed before, and a path appeared that led forward, and Leo walked it with his chest feeling strange and full. Level 5. The sign above the doorway said, "Final Boss." Leo had completed many final bosses. He had strategies. He had experience. He walked through the door ready, controller raised, stance wide. The final boss was Mia. She was 7 years old, and she was enormous, a huge pixelated version of his little sister with her brown pigtails and her blue dress and her round brown eyes. She stood in the center of a circular arena of glowing tiles, and she was looking at him with the patient, slightly tired expression of someone who has been waiting a long time. Her health bar was enormous. Her level display said, "Final Boss, Little Sister." A small floating text box appeared above her head. It said, "She does not want to fight you. She wants to play with you. She always has." Leo looked at Mia, at the enormous pixel version of his little sister, with her arms at her sides, not attacking, just standing there. He thought about 12 times a day. He thought about, "I am busy." He thought about how she had said those words, "Yes, Leo, okay, Leo," in that patient way that was more forgiving than he had ever deserved. He lowered the controller. He said, "Mia, I am sorry I never played with you. Do you want to team up?" The enormous pixel, Mia looked at him for a moment that stretched out. Then her health bar disappeared. The arena changed. The challenge tiles became a cooperative puzzle, two-player, and a second controller appeared on the ground at Leo's feet. The puzzle was difficult and fast and required two people thinking together, and Leo picked up the second controller and handed it to the pixel Mia, and she grinned. The enormous grin that his actual sister made when she was genuinely happy, which he had not been paying attention to. And they played. They solved the puzzle together in 6 minutes. Mia was better at the left side than Leo, which surprised him and which he told her. And she made the enormous pixel grin again. The arena flooded with light. "Game complete" appeared in the sky in enormous letters. Points rained down in golden streams. Guide appeared beside Leo and said nothing for a moment and then said, "You know, you were always good at this. You were just playing the wrong game." Leo woke up on the sofa. The controller was in his hand. The TV was off. The house was quiet with early morning. He sat up. He put the controller on the coffee table, the smooth wooden table in front of the sofa where it had always lived. He went to the kitchen and took out the rubbish without being asked. He came back and got his school bag and sat at the kitchen table and opened his homework. He was still sitting there working when his mother came downstairs and stopped in the doorway and looked at him with an expression he could not entirely read, which he suspected was something between surprised and relieved. He said, "Good morning." She said, "Good morning" back. She made 2 cups of tea. Tea is a warm drink made by pouring hot water over dried leaves, and it is one of the most comforting things in the world on a quiet morning, and set one in front of him without a word. When Mia came downstairs at 8:30, still in her pajamas with her brown pigtails half undone from sleep, Leo looked up from his homework and said, "Do you want to play something later? Together?" Mia looked at him. She said, "Really?" Leo said, "Really?" She sat down at the kitchen table next to him and watched him do his homework and did not say anything more, which was its own kind of answer. The controller was still on the coffee table when they finally played that afternoon. Leo let Mia pick the game. She picked a cooperative puzzle game, 2-player, fast, difficult, and it turned out she was better at the left side than him, which he told her, and she made the grin. He had always known she was there. He had simply not been paying enough attention.